Hello, everybody. We are hanging out this week in Washington, D.C., and I am hanging out with Mario of AvePoint, who has been a busy man. We've seen him at Ignite previously when they were giving away a Ducati, which he did not give to me, and I might still be angry about. But we are here in Washington, D.C. at ShiftHappens. What is going on, my man?
Well, first off, there will be another Ducati this year, so
right,
so just take note of that.
Let me just slide a little something your way.
Exactly. But yeah, first off, thanks for having me, and this is a great opportunity to talk and catch up a little bit more. But we're excited to be here, as you said, in Washington, launching this great conference, talking about some really important topics that are happening in the industry, as transformation is affecting all of us, not only in business but in our own personal lives. So. Yeah, today's been great. We had a couple of keynotes already talking and establishing context to the conversation. Mm-hmm. We talked a lot about culture, digital leadership, and what it takes to actually implement and the effect that has on the operations of an organization. So hopefully, as we are speaking, sessions are going on, more specifically around the business track of the side of the conversation, as well as technical perspectives in more practical terms. So yeah, it's a great time to be talking about this stuff.
One of the things I love in the way the approach you guys are taking is that it's digital transformation from the trenches. A lot of times we hear things from that very high level, like C-level suite. It's saying, hey, we migrated and now we're making more money, or we're saving money and all that stuff. But we're getting a lot of really nitty-gritty stories about people who are in the process. Tony Redmond has been around talking about the migrations and all that stuff. But what are you seeing in the industry? How does AvePoint and how does yourself approach this digital transformation that we hear so much about?
Sure. Yeah, I think we wanted to focus on the trenches. We wanted it to be more practical, more palatable. Yeah. We're seeing companies that are, frankly, still considering what is the right approach to the culture change that must, be there in order for digital transformation to take place. The investments we see in digital are absolutely happening. Companies are looking to move from legacy systems into more modern applications, but if your culture is not really adopting a new mind shift, then you can have the tech sitting there and it really won't mean anything for your transformation journey. So speaking from the trenches is really just initiating the discussion around workloads like migration. What does a company do when they're actually, making that consideration of moving data to the cloud? What choices do they have? What opportunities with technology do they have? And there's quite a few. You can actually, clean up your information assets. You can actually identify, how effective is your organization in classifying information. So there's an opportunity to almost re-inventory your data set. And then there's also an opportunity that once you're inside the new workload, you can really think and innovate of how new technologies are going to help you be more productive. Yeah,
and one of the things everyone needs to keep in mind is that digital transformation isn't something you go at alone, right? There's resources out there, there's people out there who can help. That's why conferences like this exist. And so where does AvePoint fit into all this? Because you guys are hosting a conference and there's quite frankly a lot of people here learning. But how does AvePoint fit into that transformation process?
Sure, we made a huge investment in first helping our customers through the sort of the knowledge. We spend a lot of time doing workshops with clients. We talk specifically about implementing governance strategies that begin with reviewing of processes and procedures, and then looking at how to automate that. So we believe that upfront education is critical, and then after we make that workshop successful, we actually do some practical implementation of prototypes or pilots. The reality is it starts to build trust. Organization starts to also feel that this is something doable and that they can actually accomplish. So that for us has been critical in our go-to-market. Without that, I think that a lot of the opportunity we could bring to a company with technology would be missed.
Gotcha.
The second thing we're doing well, I think, is also partnering, making sure that we have the right partners at the table. The transformation journey it's a spectrum of different activities one must do. So having the partners that come in and drive through their expertise is critical. Interoperability not only at the technology but also at the relationship is key for that to happen.
Interesting. And for those who haven't picked up on it yet, Dux works with Mario, and Dux and I do a podcast very frequently. And so Between these two, I feel like I should have pretty good odds at winning that Ducati, and yet I still only own I don't even own a moped anymore. That was back way many years ago.
That's right.
So what's next for AvePoint, right? You guys are doing this conference, but after the show ends here in 48 hours, what's on the horizon for you all?
Well, I think, the first thing is we have a responsibility to make sure the conversations that, we start here continue.
Sure.
One of the points we want to emphasize is that the networks that we're building begin at great conferences like this, but the relationship is really the most important. So investing in that relationship. Hopefully, what we'll focus on next is amplifying the work we're doing in our go-to-market, seeing where else we can add flavor to the workshops, where else we could add more participation through podcasts to get the message out, to really be more vocal about our philosophy and approach. And then, of course, the other side of it is we have a lot of organizations that already have been with us and continue to ask questions, and being there as a resource, not only as a vendor, providing them technology, but being there as a resource and saying we can connect you with other partners that may be better positioned to address your questions. It's sort of like participating in the community, being part of this new social fabric that really makes up this digital era we're living in.
Yeah, it's definitely, I don't want to say a new time, because we've been living in these worlds for a while, but even things, when I think we're all done transforming, then Microsoft comes out with a product like Teams, right? Or they make changes to subscription models, or they make new products, or just Windows 10, for example. It's an ongoing, sort of an evergreen challenge, but if done effectively and with the right technology, you can get huge wins on the backside of it.
Sure. We as we run our own business, we wrestle with these points every day. We are constantly looking at our pricing models, making sure that the licensing models are adequate and that they're removing friction from adoption. I do think that it is really important for us to understand that the impact technology has on the new workforce has to be, there needs to be a shorter time to value. And if that's not there, the companies are going to say it's not worth the investment, we're going to look elsewhere. So what else can we do upfront, early on in that relationship to show value? Teams is a great example. Teams is the kind of product that you could, quickly see that it actually can change and introduce new habits of how people collaborate. But for us, how do we bring our technologies nested inside of that experience, and how do we actually become more focused on the user experience is also part of our mission.
Very, very cool. And if people want to learn more about what AvePoint's doing or yourself, what's the best way to find you?
Well, outside of obviously all the work that Dux's team has done to create an outreach program and to create all our digital properties, you could certainly look us up at all the major conferences. We're a great partner of Microsoft. The work we're doing with you guys, your podcast, the majority of our senior management staff also has Twitter handles. And obviously at ShiftHappens, if you go to the URL of ShiftHappens, you'll be able to see a lot of reference points for continuous education on the work we're doing.
Fantastic. And if you've ever wondered why Dux travels so much, you now know why. To everybody else, we'll include links down below to all that good stuff, and we want to appreciate you for stopping by. We know this is a very busy time with ShiftHappens going on, but thanks for stopping by, Mario, and to everybody else, we'll catch you right back here next time.
Excellent. Thank you.